they did four of them glued themselves to the stairs or to the entrance of the High Court, and therefore were unable to enter the court to face the charges. I mean, they can do that till the cows come home, as far as we're all concerned, as long as they don't block roads. Do you think that the fact, I think it was 9 of them or so before Christmas, ended up in jail and spent the festive period behind bars, has sent a bit of a message to these people, and actually they don't fancy the prospect of doing porridge, and therefore they've gone all quiet?
I think it might do for some of them. I remember when that last case happened back in, I think it was October or November. One of the chaps was interviewed by the press before he went to have his hearing, and he said very memorably, quote, "I'm crapping myself," because they had to realise that the consequences of what they'd done. So maybe it has sparked a little bit of realism in some of them. On the other hand, the behaviour of those 4 who glued themselves to the steps today in order to demonstrate the fact not only that they were not going to attend the hearing they were required to attend, but also that they objected to the whole process and that they somehow believe that the British legal system is causing all kinds of death and harm on a huge scale. They are egomaniacs as well as ecomaniacs. They want us to pay attention to them. They want their faces plastered all over the newspapers. They want us to pay attention to their cause and somehow be converted by their passion and their drive. But of course, nobody's being converted by this. It's clear that their main motivation still is narcissism, is promoting themselves. That's why they're still gluing themselves to things, even when it doesn't have even the most tenuous link to the environment or any kind of environmental issue at all.
And they are imbued with an absolute certitude about the rightness of their cause. They are completely intolerant to even slight dissent from their heartfelt beliefs. So if you say, well, I'm not sure that the planet is doomed in 10 years' time, or I'm not sure it is top of my agenda, you're dismissed as a fool and wrong. I think they're similar to Neil Young and Joni Mitchell, who recently took their music off Spotify because they're absolutely convinced that the opinions being put forward by the guests of the podcaster Joe Rogan, by the way, they were doctors, they were medical guests. Joni Mitchell and Neil Young are totally full of certitude, absolutely sure that these people are spreading misinformation. It is this certitude that is the problem, isn't it? I mean, anyone who feels that 100% there is absolutely no possibility that they could be wrong is to be suspected. There are figures of suspicion, in my view.
Absolutely right. Yeah, there's no serious debate or conversation that has been provoked as a result of Insulate Britain gluing themselves to roads or Extinction Rebellion causing all kinds of disruption, because they are not looking to start conversations and to explore ideas and to debate things in the proper way. They are just looking for more attention for themselves. They are just looking for people to convert to their movement and so swell their numbers, or to be refused to convert to their movement, in which case they must be written off as evil and probably climate deniers and almost certainly fascists and various other things as well. There's no looking beyond the immediate. There's no conception that the world is a little bit more complicated than they think. And this stopped being about the environment a long, long time ago. These people give a really bad name to people who genuinely do care about the environment and are trying to find real solutions and discuss this policy in a meaningful way, because they have made it all about themselves. They made it all about their show. It's textbook virtue signaling, isn't it? We live in an age in which people are so desperate to show that they care about an issue rather than actually find the solution to it. And what could show that you care about an issue more strongly than gluing your hands, or in some cases your face, to the road over it?
I arrived here at work at Talk Radio Towers once a few months back, and there's a rather old guy had glued himself to one of the glass doors that we get into these offices through, and the police were busy trying to sort of disentangle him or disconnect him, and he was about like 75, and I just looked at him, I said, "What do you think you're doing?" And he said, "We're trying to save the planet." What, in what way does gluing yourself to a glass door in an office block save the planet? And you're right, he doesn't care about saving the planet. He wants us all to look at him and realise what a hero he is and how wonderful he is. And you're quite right, Jason. What exactly have these demonstrators, be they Extinction Rebellion blocking bridges or Insulate Britain blocking motorways, what have they achieved in terms of debate? And I think it was all summed up really at the COP26 fiasco, where you had furious eco-warriors demonstrating outside these meeting halls where politicians were all discussing massive, great climate change policies. And it's like, well, hang on, what are you protesting about? What do Insulate Britain want from green fanatic Boris Johnson that he's not already doing?
Exactly, yeah, and this kind of perspective that they've adopted doesn't stand up to any scrutiny. There have been many cases where a journalist has tried to ask an Insulate Britain protester or an Extinction Rebellion protester to explain their position, to explain what it is that they want that is not already happening in a meaningful way. And they just go and ramble, and they just list off, they go on this diatribe about how the government's killing people by not putting enough thatching in our roofs or something. It doesn't make any sense at all. They've clearly not thought it through. There's no meat to their position. I don't know why we weren't arresting them in the first place for sitting in the road. That's a criminal offence. The few of them who managed to get away scot-free today, who were let go, the reason they were let go is it was a technicality, is that the place they were protesting fell slightly outside the purview of the M25 injunction. Why were we not just arresting them in the first place?
Indeed, but apparently they needed these injunctions to be able to sentence them to stronger punishments. But I couldn't quite understand that either, Jason. I'm wondering if you would be interested in joining my campaign to lower awareness of climate change issues, because they're getting rather repressive, aren't they?
It's only fair, yeah. We need to balance the equation. We believe, of course, in a balanced and unbiased media. And so we talk so much about Insulate Britain. Maybe we should talk about some ways to lower awareness and to keep our attention off these issues for a little while.
Last question, just on a general point, Jason. What are your feelings about Boris Johnson? I want him to survive, because I think if he loses his job, it'll be too destabilising for this country and may pave the way for the horror of a Keir Starmer government. But what are your feelings?
I think that we are unstable anyway, even with Boris Johnson in number 10. I wish he would just go. I think his libertarian principles that he was elected on have gone out the window a long, long time ago. We need a fresh start. We need the Tories to have a little bit of an existential think about what they stand for as a party. But I'm not confident that's going to happen. I think the worst of Partygate is behind Boris now. Everyone will be bored of it even more than they are now by the time the police investigation comes out. I think it's highly likely that he will lead us into the next election and that he will win it, which means he'll be there for years.
Well, I'd rather have him win it than Keir Starmer win it, put it that way. And I think you come from the school of thought which says that the best way to repeat the crashing victory of Boris in the last election is to make sure Boris doesn't fight the next election. But if they're going to do that, the Tory party, they'll have to get their skates on. Don't forget, I think there are 28 months till the next general election, so you'd be surprised. People have short memories. They can repair this damage. But these are interesting times, and we will await developments with bated breath. Jason, great to talk to you as